Why does it always sting worse when it comes from someone who helped you? Why do you replay their smile at 2 a.m., searching for the exact moment the mask slipped? How does someone who never once raised their voice still manage to leave you feeling smaller every single time you walk away from them? Why do you keep making excuses for the coldness, telling yourself you imagined it, telling yourself you're too sensitive, telling yourself they didn't mean it that way? You are not paranoid. You are not ungrateful. You are not broken for noticing what you noticed. You simply haven't learned yet how to read the mask, and by the end of this video, you will never unsee it again. Kindness has a sound. Real kindness asks for nothing in return. It does not keep records. It does not flinch when you say no. But there is another kind of kindness, quieter, smoother, far more dangerous, that wears the exact same face, uses the exact same words, and serves a completely different purpose. It is not born from love. It is born from need. And the tragedy is that most people go their entire lives without learning the difference, paying for it in relationships that quietly hollow them out. More than a century ago, Marcus Aurelius sat in a tent on the edge of an empire, exhausted, surrounded by war, writing to no one but himself. He was not a monk hiding from the world. He was a man drowning in flatterers' generals who bowed to his face and maneuvered behind his back, senators who praised his wisdom in public and undermined him in private. He had every reason to become bitter, to trust no one, to close himself off completely. Instead, he did something far more difficult. He trained himself to see clearly. He learned, slowly and painfully, to separate the people who served him from the people who merely used him while wearing the costume of service. That distinction, clear sight versus comfortable blindness, is the entire subject of this video. Point 5 is the one almost everyone misses. It looks the most like love. It sounds the most like devotion. And out of all 7, it is the one that does the most invisible, long-term damage to the way you see yourself. The first behavior is the favor with a hidden invoice. You already know this one, even if you've never put words to it. Someone helps you, constantly moves your furniture on a Saturday morning, lends you money without you even asking twice, shows up early when everyone else cancels. For years you call this person a good friend. You tell others how lucky you are to have them. And then, one day, something small happens. You say no, just once. You decline an invitation, a request, a favor of your own. And the warmth that had always felt so natural disappears within seconds, replaced by a coldness you cannot quite explain, a distance you cannot quite name. This was never generosity. It was investment. Every single favor was a quiet deposit into an account you didn't even know existed, and the moment you refused to make a payment, the debt collector arrived at your door. Marcus Aurelius called this acting for applause rather than acting for virtue, kindness performed purely for a future return, never given freely, never given without a silent expectation attached. This is not a flaw in you. It is a pattern in them, one they have likely repeated with everyone who ever came close enough to be useful. Second is praise that shrinks you instead of lifting you. Someone compliments you constantly, your intelligence, your talent, your looks, your patience, and yet somehow you leave every conversation with them feeling smaller than when you arrived. Listen closely to the timing of the compliments. They rarely appear at random. They land right before a request, right before they need your time, your loyalty, your silence about something. This is flattery being used as a leash, not admiration being offered as a gift. Real appreciation makes you feel steady. This kind of praise makes you feel owned. Marcus Aurelius warned repeatedly against those who seek to please rather than to be truthful, who trade compliments like currency instead of offering honesty like connection. You are not vain, and you are not ungrateful for noticing the difference between being seen and being managed. Your instincts were simply doing exactly what they were built to do. Third, and this one is critical, is the rescuer who quietly needs you broken. This is the friend, the partner, sometimes even the parent, who appears instantly and dramatically the moment your life falls apart. They show up with food, with advice, with late-night phone calls, with a version of themselves that feels like salvation. But watch closely what happens the day you actually get better. Watch what happens the week you stop needing to be saved. If the warmth cools exactly when your crisis ends, if their interest fades in direct proportion to your healing, you were never truly the point of the relationship. You were the stage they performed their goodness on. Marcus Aurelius described men who confuse being needed with being good, who anchor their entire sense of worth to someone else's weakness instead of building their own character from the inside. You did not fail this friendship by getting stronger. It was simply never built to survive your recovery. Fourth is the group that smiles in front of you and shifts the moment you leave the room. The jokes that land a little too precisely on your insecurities, always followed by "we're just kidding, don't take it so seriously." The invitations that arrive last, if they arrive at all, as though you were an afterthought rather than a friend. The silence that follows your wins. No one mentions the promotion. No one asks about the good news and the sudden, almost theatrical warmth that returns the second you stumble again. This is not your imagination, and it never was. Groups protect their internal hierarchy with the exact same instincts individuals use to protect their ego. Marcus Aurelius spoke often of men who live entirely for the good opinion of others while offering none of that same grace back, who need someone beneath them in order to feel secure above them. Your discomfort in that room, the tightness in your chest you couldn't explain, was never oversensitivity. It was accurate, reliable data your body understood before your mind caught up. Fifth, and this is the one that hides the deepest, the 1.5 warned you about, is the apology that isn't actually for you. Someone hurts you, and within minutes, sometimes even seconds, they are apologizing beautifully. The words are perfect. The tone is soft. Sometimes there are even real tears. You forgive them, because of course you do. Who wouldn't forgive something delivered with that much apparent sincerity? And then, 3 days later, or 3 weeks later, the exact same thing happens again, almost word for word. This apology was never repair. It was image management, a performance designed to protect how they see themselves in the mirror, not designed to protect you or the relationship. Marcus Aurelius separated words from actions with brutal, unforgiving clarity, teaching that a man's true character is revealed only in what he repeats, never in what he says once under pressure. Stop measuring people by the beauty of their apologies. Start measuring them coldly and honestly by the pattern of their behavior over time. Sixth is comfort that has a ceiling built into it. This is the person who is endlessly, generously present when you are struggling. They'll sit with you through heartbreak for hours, answer the phone at midnight, tell you everything will be fine. But watch what happens the moment things start going well for you. Watch how strangely quiet they become after your good news, how the phone calls slow down, how the enthusiasm feels forced or delayed. Their kindness has a limit, and that limit is precisely the point where your growth begins to threaten their own comfort with themselves. Marcus Aurelius understood something uncomfortable about human nature, that certain people cannot tolerate the flourishing of others because it exposes, by contrast, their own stagnation. Their silence during your victories was never an accident, and it was never really about you at all. Seventh, and last on this list, is the silence that punishes you without ever raising its voice. There is no yelling, no dramatic confrontation, no argument you can point to and defend yourself against. Just a sudden, total withdrawal of warmth the moment you disagree with them about anything at all. The coldness lingers for days, sometimes longer, teaching you without a single spoken word exactly what obedience buys you back and exactly what independence costs you. This is control wearing the costume of hurt feelings. Marcus Aurelius wrote about men who wound others quietly and then wait, almost patiently, to be comforted for the wound they themselves inflicted. If someone's silence has ever felt like punishment to you, trust that feeling completely, because that is precisely what it was engineered to be. So why does any of this exist at all? Why does human nature manufacture kindness that isn't actually kind? Because real virtue costs something, and most people, if they're honest with themselves, are simply not willing to pay that price. It is far easier to perform generosity than to practice it consistently. Easier to invoice, flatter, rescue, exclude, apologize, withhold, and punish in silence than it is to give without ever needing anything back in return. Marcus Aurelius understood, long before modern psychology gave it a name, that ego does not vanish simply because it learns to wear a gentler face. It only becomes harder to detect, harder to name, harder to defend yourself against. Every single behavior on this list is the same root fear, wearing a slightly different costume: the fear of not being needed, the fear of not being important, the fear of losing control over someone who is growing beyond their reach. So here is exactly what you do with everything you now understand. First, stop repaying debts you never actually agreed to in the first place. Not every favor requires a lifetime of gratitude disguised as obedience. Second, separate compliments from character completely. The only compliments worth trusting are the ones that survive you saying no. Third, pay close attention to who shows up for your healing, not only for your breaking, because both versions of you deserve the same level of care. Fourth, measure people by their patterns across months and years, never by a single beautifully delivered apology in a single moment of guilt. Fifth, protect your peace, even when withdrawal and silence are disguised as hurt feelings, because your calm is not something anyone else is entitled to weaponize. The goal here is not to become cold, distant, or suspicious of everyone around you. The goal is to become clear enough to finally tell the difference between people who love you and people who simply need you to stay exactly as small as you've always been. For years, you probably believed that noticing all of this made you difficult, dramatic, or somehow ungrateful for the people in your life. It doesn't. It makes you dangerous in the exact way that clarity is always dangerous to people who quietly relied on your confusion to keep functioning the way they wanted. Weak minds need you unaware in order to keep their leash intact around your neck. Strong minds don't need a leash at all, because they never confused control for love in the first place, and they never will. You are not becoming harder or colder as a person. You are becoming someone who simply can no longer be manipulated quietly, in the dark, without you noticing exactly what is happening. Real kindness never sends an invoice. Real warmth has no hidden ceiling waiting to appear the moment you succeed. Real love does not vanish the instant you no longer need to be rescued. Understand this clearly. You were never too sensitive. You were simply paying attention long before you had the language to explain what you were seeing. And sometimes the greatest act of self-respect a person can perform is simply walking away from the ones who only ever loved your weakness. If any part of this reached something in you, you already know this channel exists for people who refuse to stay confused about human nature any longer. Here you'll find the hidden psychology behind manipulation disguised as care, the philosophy behind walking away from people who quietly drain you, the real difference between loyalty and control, and the mindset shifts that separate people who keep getting used from people who simply cannot be used anymore. Understanding false kindness is not entertainment. It is protection for the version of you that has already been hurt enough by people who called it love.